Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships and Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight it's that time of the month, guys. It is Patch Note Day. So, with that being said, let's look at our patch notes. We have the May update, Galloping Seahorse. Yay. Okay. Maintenance times will be for Xbox and PlayStation May 16th. 2 to 5 a.m. Central Time, 7 to 10 a.m. UTC. Update size for Xbox One and, well, for all consoles seems to be 2.3 gigabytes or 2300 megabytes. Captains, welcome to the new update. It brings a significant batch of content, including a very special feature. Let's check all of that out. Can't be bothered to read such long texts? No problem. We have the TLDR for you. Pan-European destroyers arrive in early access with 2 new commanders. Back to Belfast Campaign with British Tier 7 premium cruiser Belfast 43, I like the name, or at least the number anyway, as the ultimate prize. Now obviously that means 1943, but still. Previous collaboration content, including Azure Lane, returns for a limited time. So, good time to pick up some of those commanders that you guys hear me talking about, like, the Azure Lane Scharnhorst, Azure Lane Balti, Azure Lane Nelson, those sorts of peoples. Pilot version of the auction with exclusive goods to obtain. Interesting. I can't wait to read about that, see what that is. 3 arena seasons, nice, and more, of course. Before we continue, make sure to redeem the code at this code right here at wowslegends.com/code-redeemer to obtain 12 Union Jack camos. Alrighty, so Pan-European destroyers in early access and sweet comebacks. A whole new batch of Pan-European destroyers arrives in Legends, now available in early access. It consists of 6 new destroyers and 1 cruiser, being the usual entry point of the text tree. Both Tier 1 Griff and Tier 2 Romulus are unlockable for credits, while Tier 7 Ostergotland, we'll go with that. Ostergotland, I apologize, is going to reinforce the destroyer ranks with the start of the next update, marking the line becoming fully researchable. These destroyers don't need smoke generators, relying instead on speed and powerful armaments, as well as the repair party consumable at higher tiers. Ooh, they get heals, right? Repair party? That'd be heals. So they don't get smoke, but they get heals. Interesting. And it sounds like they're gonna have good guns, potentially. To get the new ships, acquire some Pan-European destroyer crates, including big ones. The big containers being subject to the guaranteed system. Also, bring back a Pan-European Navy staple, the Tier 7 Friesland, with her rapid-firing gunboat style ready for you to try out. She is also going to be obtainable for Global XP, but that's not the only comeback we're preparing. Bliskavica, or Bliskavica, is gonna be available to acquire too. You'll get an early access ship, Tier 3 to Tier 6, at least in every 20th crate, Pan-European Destroyer Big Crate opened. The threshold for Friesland is 30 containers. One more Pan-European destroyer to get is all new Premium Oland. Is it Oland? Oland. Oland. We're just going to call it Oland. We'll go with that. That sounds right. Yeah. Of Tier 6, starting May 23rd. To learn more about her, proceed to the new ships of the update section and watch out for another deep dive within a Through the Spyglass article, which will arrive in the coming weeks. With more good news, 2 new commanders, Conrad Helfrich, who was stealthily added to the officer ranks in the last update, and Stig Hansen Eriksson, Stig Hansen Eriksson, are joining Jerzy Swirsky hiding inside commander crates. Each of the 3 Pan-European commanders is also obtainable for 900,000 commander XP in the store. Konrad Helfrich definitely seems to be a destroyer commander. His base trait is average AA damage per second. Interesting. Wait, will to rebuild. Maybe this isn't a destroyer commander. But either way, Konrad Helfrich is your universal pan-European commander. He's the universal commander. Gotcha. Which means you're going to get him as soon as you acquire your first such ship, be it either the Tier 1 Griff or any of the early access destroyers. Or you might have him already. Stig Hansen Eriksson, whose base trait seems to be Thunderbolt, which is engine boost cooldown time. That is probably the most useless base trait in the game. Like, really? But some say his torpedo... Oh, God bless America. They're actually going with a Top Gear Stig reference. I like it, I respect it, but really? Some say his torpedoes defy physics. Others claim he's never set a smokescreen in his life. All we know is he's named the Stig Hansen Eriksson. To learn everything about the new ships and commanders, stay tuned. We'll cover the matter next week in a featured article. Alright, so back to Belfast Campaign with the new Tier 7 Belfast 1943, or Belfast 43. Totally not related to Spartan Elite 43. Belfast 43 is the Tier 7 version of a cruiser you know and love with AP and HE, and close to American ballistics, but she's now equipped with 2 triple-tube torpedo launchers. She also has an enviable consumable kit of smoke generator radar and sonar available at the same time. To learn more about this ship, stay tuned for a dedicated issue of Through the Spyglass blog section set to go out next week. The framework for our campaign is probably familiar to you. 100 milestones in 5 weeks, with the catch-up mechanic being enabled. And if you're up for a challenge, there's also a weekly set of hard mode assignments. Let's proceed to the prize list. So, without Admiralty backing, you get all of this for a total value of 17,635 doubloons. With Admiralty backing, you get all of that, plus you get all of this, which adds up to a total of 71,530 doubloons. And of course, if you have Admiralty backing and you finish all of the tasks, you will unlock the Tier 7 British cruiser, the Belfast 43. As the campaign contains 100 milestones, if you wish to get everything right away, it'll require 27,250 doubloons. The full breakdown of the campaign missions will be available on Monday, May 16th as a standalone blog post. Now, Azure Lane and Godzilla vs. Kong are back at it. Rejoice, Captains! Azure Lane collaboration content as well as the Godzilla vs. Kong collaboration range will become available once again. Both content sets come back in full except for Azure Lane Atago. The Azure Lane collection is headlined by the likes of Baltimore, Queen Elizabeth, Graf Spee, and others. Godzilla and Kong items are available until June 6th, while you'll be able to get your hands on the Azure Lane goods from May 30th through June 20th. Enter the auction. Okay. So the initial version of the new feature is here. It works this way. Make your bid for a lot with a finite number of valuable items within each available. Okay. So let's just think about what that just said. Make your bid for a lot. Okay, if you guys don't know what a lot is, they're not talking about make your bid a lot. There's a lot is a group of items together. Okay, so you're bidding on a lot. Okay, So a lot would be a group. So like if you've ever watched the like the Storage Wars or something like that, where you bid on a storage, auction, you bid on a storage room and you get everything inside that room. This is essentially the same thing. So you're making a bid for a lot with a finite number of valuable items within each available, and either win and get the goods or get your bid refunded if you lose. For now, the bids might be placed with doubloons and credits, depending on the exact lot. This update, the auction will be active from June 2nd to June 6th. I'm looking forward to checking this out and seeing what you can get for doubloons, or not doubloons, but credits especially, because it's something that I think the game needs is, especially for those of us who have a lot of credits, like we kind of run out of things to buy for credits. So having things like this come in where you could potentially get some things like promotion orders, insignias, stuff like that for credits would definitely be a good thing. Also, commendations like universal commendations and stuff, if those are in there, those are always useful. So it'll be interesting to see what all you can get in this auction and what the prices, what the economy is going to be like for that. So please help us test it, as we are eagerly waiting for your feedback. Make sure to check out our blog. A dedicated article on the auction, including the full rules and exclusive lots that are going to be available this time, is coming soon. 3 Arena Seasons. Arena makes a thunderous return for the new update, with 3 seasons available over its course. The arms race bonuses come back too, except the one that restores HP, just like you asked. Other than that, no changes and no carriers. Buckle up and show who's boss. More information is coming your way in a special article breaking down everything you would want to know about the Arena Seasons as soon as next week. So this is something that I'm glad they are actually doing. I hate the hit point recovery. Like, I don't have a problem if it was just one. Like, if you get one heal each, that's not an issue. But the problem is it's not. Most of the time you get one hit point or 1 HP like recovery consumable, or not consumable, but perk, and then you get 3 or 4 more on top of it. You basically become unkillable, and that's no fun. So yeah. So I'm actually glad to see that. I don't have a problem with this whatsoever. I think it'll make it more competitive. Also, I wish that they would do something with the spawns that basically guarantee 2 teams to fight each other first, and then the winners of those 2 teams end up fighting each other, rather than the way it has been so far, where all of the teams kind of end up the same distance apart, and you end up with 2 or 3 teams ganging up on one team. That's one of my biggest gripes with this. If they could make it to where 2 teams spawn closer to one another and the other 2 teams spawn closer to one another, so that they are almost guaranteed to fight one another first, then I think that would make it a lot more fun, because you would get really good brawls between 2 teams, and then the winners of those 2 teams, or 2 brawls, come together to decide who would win the arena. So that, I think, would be a lot more fun, in my personal opinion. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. New ships of the update. You got the Japanese Tier 4 premium battleship Miyogi. Another Japanese battleship. Premium. Like, really? Miyogi is premium, or is based on Project B40, a precursor design to the Congo class. 6 powerful 14-inch, which is 356mm guns, with 2 of the turrets placed at the rear, make Miyogi, or Myogi, a tough fight for all comers. She is also pretty quick and sports respectable AA and secondary outfits for her tier. Respectable AA at tier 4 means that she's got somebody on the deck with a Thompson just sitting there shooting up at the plane. Yeah. That's basically what it is. So, Pan-European Tier 6 Premium Destroyer Oland. The lead ship of her class, with 4 destroyers planned and 2 built. Oland was constructed with the lessons of World War II naval battles in mind, becoming the biggest destroyers of the Swedish Navy. She and her sister ship were in service up until 1979. A quick shot with strong AA defenses, bolstered by defensive AA fire, This pan-European destroyer is no slouch. Add to that repair party and powerful torpedoes, and you have a top contender, but beware, there's no smoke generator. So this is a little bit of, generic, I can do everything. I've got good guns, I've got good torps, I've got heals, I've got, all of the things. Good AA. So this will be an interesting look. I'm not going to lie. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Balance changes. Woohoo! While with this update, there are no immediate balance changes incoming, make sure to check our dev blog on some upcoming changes here. Okay. Pretty sure we've already talked about some of them, like the Weimar and stuff like that will be changing in the near future. Store updates, skins and permanent camos. Same as voiceovers for commanders and commander guises can now be previewed in the store before you make a purchase. Some minor interface tweaks to smooth the experience were added as well. For bug fixes, ship models in battle could sometimes load as low polygon versions when reconnecting after disconnect. When navigating between Bureau project segments with controller bumper buttons, going back could result in wrong segment being focused on when navigating back to the project overview. Collision warning indicator alerting with a delay. Peter Bagratian's barbette layout in the armor viewer was incorrect. Flint now correctly takes all range modifiers into account. For a few months she used to be hard limited to 16.3 kilometers due to an error. Interesting. I wonder what other errors exist in the game when it comes to stacking upgrades. If only somebody has mentioned stuff like this in the past. Like that sometimes you can stack upgrades and see zero change in certain stats. Just saying. And those are just the ones that we can actually see. Imagine what happens with stats that you can't see. Do they change at all? Those are the questions that we ask. A rare case of aiming reticles disappearing at the beginning of battles when players use the overview camera and tactical map during the countdown. For mobile, status bar with phone charge and time indicators sometimes not disappearing in-game on Apple devices. Multiple medals being received for a single achievement. Inability to start a battle after changing the control scheme. Torpedo aiming cones sometimes disappearing after switching to torpedoes from guns. Ship names sometimes clipping the overview camera button in battle. New element reflections behaving weirdly if the port view was active for several minutes. Smaller ships having incorrect water reflections in the port. Rare case of players disconnecting from the port menu as the game falsely identified them as being away from the device. Buttons on the left side of the screen not disabling correctly when in the overview camera. Orange gradient aura over ships that could not enter battle for one reason or another being in the wrong position in relation to the ship icon. Other, added ray traced shadows for PlayStation 5 which can be enabled in the game settings. This feature requires 4K resolution to be turned on. Collared shell tracers can now be turned off by switching the decorative parameter of customization setting, or switching off the decorative parameter. New sonar icon. When opposing ships are using sonar from behind a hill or island, you'll see corresponding icon, which means you can now effectively distinguish between sonar and radar detection. That's something that we've talked about for a long time. Like, this is something that needed to happen a long time ago. Because you don't know if it's going to be a sonar or a radar. And that is very handy information for good players to know. Like, maybe the average player doesn't care if it's a sonar or a radar, but when you're trying to plan on an attack, knowing whether it's a radar that's getting you or a sonar is a huge deal. A special type of challenge for newer players, demo battles, is available starting May 30th. The terms are the following. You can play up to 2 games with the types of ships, destroyers, cruisers, battleships, and aircraft carriers you haven't played more than once yet. The opponents are AI only, and with such a safe way of trying new stuff, your boosters and camos do not get spent. But you still get your XP, except it's only 20% of what you would get if you were playing standard battles. Now, this is all well and good, but I can think of another way that you could implement this exact thing and not have to worry about, like, all of this. Like, just put in trading rooms. It's that simple. Let me go into a thing, and I know this helps everybody. That's the crazy part. It's not just new players, but this helps everybody. Let me go in and make a freaking trading lobby where I can set up the ships like they do on PC, and I can test, ricochet angles and where I'm going to be able to pin or not pin, or, that sort of thing. All these things can be settled. Like, I don't understand why they're going through, like, extra. Like, I don't hate this. Don't get me wrong. I think that this is a good thing. I just think it could have also been done by using a freaking training room. It's that simple. Ship markers were improved. Out-of-range markers are now half-transparent for both main battery and torpedoes. Aircraft carriers and their squadrons' markers are always non-transparent, and the same goes for every marker in spectator mode and focus markers. The big HP bar of focused markers now blinks after receiving damage. A small HP bar was added for unfocused markers. With this update, we introduced 2 new ship traits. American Tier 6 Premium Destroyer Kid is swapping Nimble Aim for the Heal consumable. The second one is Slow Torpedoes, which is going to be used with upcoming ships. Mobile. Divisions are now available, and not just with other mobile players. Play with your friends on the go. Prepare for summer and turn the tide. Alright, well, there's a lot of stuff going on for this update. Not a lot of it is particularly interesting to me, but maybe you guys are different. Maybe you're looking forward to the Pan-Euro destroyers. We might give them a go. You never know. I'm not the biggest destroyer player in the world. I prefer battleships. But if this is something that you guys are interested in, let me know down in the comments below. And as always, if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button. Leave a comment below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as always, I will see you in the next video.